This morning, Queenslanders brace for the worst storm in a century. A fresh exchange of missiles as Trump holds firm on the war. Rationing not off the table for the New South Wales government as prices surge. And the dramatic rescue after a light plane crashes in Broome. That's all coming up on Sunrise.
Live across Australia, this is Sunrise Early News.
Good morning. Far north Queensland could face the worst storm in a century as tropical cyclone Narelle prepares to make landfall. The Category 5 storm is set to bring 260 km/h winds crossing the coast between the Lockhart River and Cape Melville. Residents in the cyclone's pathway are told to seek safe shelter indoors as the heavy rainfall is likely to bring flash flooding. Perth detectives have launched a homicide probe after a woman was found dead in a Banksia Grove home northeast of Perth. Police located the 42-year-old woman unresponsive. She was treated by paramedics, but she couldn't be saved. A man in his 40s is now assisting police with their investigation. Meantime, as Prime Minister Anthony Albanese calls on the US and Israel to cease attacks against Iran, fresh attacks on energy infrastructure has sent oil prices spiralling. As more nations call on the president to stop the fighting now, Iran is without nuclear capabilities.
The world, the Middle East, our ungrateful allies in Europe, even segments of our own press should be saying one thing to President Trump. Thank you. Thank you for the courage to stop this terror state from holding the world hostage with missiles while building or attempting to build a nuclear bomb.
It comes as the US considers removing sanctions on Iranian oil to free up about 2 weeks' worth of supply as oil prices continue to surge. The Prime Minister has appointed a new fuel czar as Australia ranks equal third on the highest petrol price increase since the war began. In New South Wales, a rationing scheme is being actively war-gamed by the government as dozens of fuel stations run completely dry in Sydney. The competition watchdog is investigating Ampol, Viva, BP and Mobil over alleged misconduct. The four major suppliers believed to be pricing independent rural suppliers out of diesel. Households across Australia could soon see relief from electricity bills as authorities look to cut prices on plans. Let's go live now to Josh Martin, who is in Canberra. Josh, good morning to you. So how much money could we be saving here?
Good morning, Mon. This is some rare good news for consumers and the government. Consumers are set to save a few $100s a year. The Australian Energy Regulator has released its default market offer for the next financial year, and it says prices should come down by about 10% for households on Australia's east coast, and that will mean a saving of a couple of $100 for most households. The reason is we've seen reliable summer weather, a lack of heat waves has reduced demand, and we've also had a reliable supply of wind and solar energy, meaning we haven't had to use as much gas in the system. Though the supply shocks we're seeing out of the Middle East could still affect prices just in the long term. Those gas hits, the attacks on the gas fields in Iran and Qatar could have an effect on prices, but maybe not for a further 12 months. So some rare good news for Australian households this morning, Mon.
All right, Josh. Excellent. Thank you. A damning new report into WA's response to domestic violence has revealed the system is failing victims. It comes as the number of violent offenders soars, leaving even more people at risk of serious harm. Rachel Tassica has more.
What you're watching is attempted murder. What you're about to hear is the victim calling 000 moments earlier.
Can you please send the police?
Ma'am, you need to give me some more information. Stop screaming into the phone.
Precious time wasted, waiting for help, as this monster continued his violent assault.
The longer you take to answer my questions, the longer it's going to take for me.
He is here following me. Send the goddamn police right now.
Stop screaming.
As the wait for police drags on, bystanders try to intervene. The woman left unconscious after being strangled and dumped on the ground. Officers arriving in 6 minutes.
Get away from me. Get away from me. Get away from me!
Are you still there?
It's extremely confronting to watch and hear, but this is the reality of WA's domestic violence scourge. The number of offenders in WA is at a record high, soaring by 20% last year. Nearly 80% were men. WA taking out an unwanted title, recording the biggest surge per state. But the government insists it's because more victims are coming forward and more offenders are being caught.
These numbers today confirm for me that the work that we have been doing to reform the system is working.
Today's independent report has revealed the system is failing victims. Those most at risk are not receiving the help they need.
They did not receive individualised advice on how to leave, where to go, or what arrangements to make for their children. Nor did they benefit from changed locks, security cameras, a phone the perpetrator couldn't monitor, or a duress alarm that would connect them directly to police.
The three significant findings are incomplete information collected by police means they're having to make decisions based on unreliable information. Children are not being viewed as victim survivors, and there's limited accountability for perpetrators.
In one case, we found that a single perpetrator had interacted with the response teams on 81 previous occasions. A system that allows a perpetrator to cycle through 81 times does not promote victim survivor safety.
In this report, there are 9 recommendations to improve the system. It's now up to the Department of Communities and WA Police to make those changes so the system works as it was intended and victims are better supported.
This is serious. It costs lives. We know that if the system doesn't work well and there are gaps continue to exist in the system, that women and children will be killed.
Rachel Tassica, 7 News.
One person has been winched to safety after a light plane crashed in croc-infested waters near Broome. 7 passengers were on board the skipper's aviation plane destined for Truscott Air Base in Kimberley. Witnesses say the plane struggled to gain altitude after taking off. It crashed into shallow waters off Fisherman's Bend in Roebuck. Another 6 passengers were able to walk away from the wreck. The Australian Transport Safety Bureau is now investigating. And checking Friday's weather for you now. Around the capital cities, Brisbane, showers about 27. The same in Sydney, 27 degrees for you. Canberra, a shower or two, a possible storm, 25. In Melbourne, a partly cloudy, 22 degrees. Partly cloudy as well in Hobart, 23 the maximum. In Adelaide today, mostly sunny, a lovely 27 degrees. And Perth, 34. And in Darwin today, some showers about with a top of 31 degrees. Stay with us. Still to come on Sunrise Early News, Kevin Spacey settles a lawsuit out of court and some fun in the sun for King Charles. That's next on Sunrise. Welcome back. Well, King Charles has officially opened a coastal path in his namesake at the Seven Sister National Nature Reserve in East Sussex. Let's go live now to Sarah Jane Bell, who is in London for us. Sarah Jane, good morning to you. So he was out and about greeting locals.
Yeah, good morning. Well, look, the weather here was a surprise enough today, but for those who are visiting the iconic Seven Sisters, it was quite a shock for them. People that were cycling and walking along the path there actually found themselves spotting the King. Some even actually had the chance for a chat, leaving them, well, completely gobsmacked. Now, His Majesty was there to open a new path, the King Charles III Coast Path, which will actually be the longest managed coastal path in the world. It'll traverse all across England, more than 4,300 kilometres. Some even saying it'll take about a year to be able to hike that. It isn't actually completely finished yet, but he was inaugurating that path today. It's taken 18 years and 7 prime ministers to get to this point. And as I say, it did leave the locals in the area quite shocked and enjoying the surprise of seeing the King. He wasn't the only royal out and about today. Of course, Prince William was also out. Now, he was talking about his charity Homewards, which is all about supporting youth homelessness, or ending youth homelessness rather. And there were actually delegations from Australia there as well to learn more about the program. Mon.
All right, Sarah Jane, thank you. Well, actor Kevin Spacey has settled out of court in England with 3 men who sued the actor over sexual assault claims. The civil trial was due to take place at the High Court in London this year, however, has now been frozen following the settlement. The claims had come from 3 separate men who alleged that the former Oscar winner assaulted them between 2000 and 2013. Danish royals King Frederick and Queen Mary have wrapped up their Australian tour after spending a day undertaking official duties in Mary's home state of Tasmania. The royal homecoming was more than 2 decades in the making, crowds gathering on the Hobart waterfront to greet the royal couple. Mary cruised past her old school, toured Kitchen Gardens and Tassie's famous Mona Museum. A Melbourne gunman remains on the run this morning after shooting a man in broad daylight yesterday afternoon. A man suffered a gunshot wound while walking in a suburban Craigieburn park just after 12:30. He was taken to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Police swarmed the area for the attacker, however, were unsuccessful in locating the gunman. Police are yet to establish a motive for the attack. Stay with us, still to come on Sunrise Early News. South Australians set to head to the polls tomorrow and a major retailer on the brink of collapse. That's next on Sunrise. Olympian Rowan Dennis is under fire over his first social media post since the death of his wife in a driving incident. The champion cyclist shared a photo of his luxury Porsche, describing it as a, quote, weapon, a move slammed by victims' advocates as deeply offensive.
Fresh from the school run, Olympic cyclist Rowan Dennis races straight into his garage.
Rowan, do you have anything to say about the posts on social media?
That post, a picture of his $300,000 Porsche with the caption, "What an absolute weapon." His interaction with the media just as bizarre.
You're amazing. I love you. Hello.
It's the first time Dennis has posted publicly since he was handed a suspended sentence over the driving incident that killed his wife. Fellow Olympian Melissa Hoskins died after being struck by a different car Dennis was driving outside the couple's Medindi home in 2023.
This post is deeply offensive and one that demonstrates a lack of empathy and insight.
What would you like to say about calling a car a weapon, Rowan?
Morning. Have a good day, guys.
Later, he even shared our interaction, posting this security vision.
Do you believe a car is a weapon?
And this, another bizarre post, also calling his kids 2 absolute weapons.
Rowan Dennis is right now on a 2-year good behaviour bond, and despite boasting about his luxury car, which sits in this garage, he's banned from driving it until the end of 2028.
You would absolutely hope that Mr. Dennis understands the harm that his actions have now had and would now delete the post.
Thank you very much.
Mitchell Sariovsky, 7 News.
A Sydney motorcyclist is in a serious condition in hospital this morning after he lost control of his bike, falling off before being hit by a passing vehicle. The man was riding in a group travelling north at Strathfield just before 11:30 last night when the 38-year-old male rider came off his bike. A 43-year-old woman driving the vehicle wasn't injured. An investigation is now underway. A 15-year-old boy has been charged over an alleged shooting at a school in Sydney's east. Police say that the teenager is accused of firing a BB gun at another student at Rose Bay Secondary College yesterday afternoon. The victim was shot in the back, but fortunately wasn't injured. The 15-year-old was arrested and taken to Surrey Hills Police Station, where he was charged with 3 offences. He was refused bail and will face a children's court today. Well, South Australians will head to the polls tomorrow with Labor and the Premier, Peter Malinauskas, surging ahead in the latest poll, on track to secure its highest ever 2-party preferred vote in the party's state history. One Nation is tipped to be a major force, 22% of polled voters saying that they intend to vote for Pauline Hanson's party. The Liberals, under new leader Ashton Hearn, appear on track to face their worst result to date, finishing 3rd on 19%. Victorian Premier Jacinta Allan has downplayed rumours of a potential leadership coup as Labor MPs are reportedly working to find her replacement. Ms Allan dismissed concerns of a leadership challenge as nothing more than idle gossip.
Could be from a few scallywags out there that might need a bit of a cuddle.
It comes as the party fears that it could lose up to 20 seats in the November election. Ben Carroll and Gabrielle Williams have been suggested as possible successors. Iconic department store David Jones could be on the brink of closure, with the nearly 200-year-old company in doubt after spending $250 million in a bid to transform the ailing business. Large debts and difficult economic conditions have led DJ's overseas counterparts to close amid bankruptcies. These overdue payments to suppliers have been sitting at an average of 16 days, well behind the industry standard of 7 days. Well, tough times mean supermarkets are in a battle to attract shoppers turned bargain hunters. In Sydney's West, a new bulk buying store has opened locally. It's called Grosgo and it's challenging American giant Costco.
Stocking up in Penrith, discount grocery store Grosgo opening 2 weeks ago.
The name was quite interesting. Costco, as we all know, it's a popular, wholesale shopping store.
The US-based mega chain with a C, also based in the West with membership cards and bulk buying. News of Grosgo with a G spreading fast.
I like to check out, if it is cheaper than Costco, then
And mostly it is. A Costco membership is $65. At Grosgo, it's $99 from next month. But the grocery prices stack up. A 20-kilo bag of basmati rice, $49.99 at Costco, $13 cheaper in Penrith. You can get an extra kilo of chickpeas for just $1.30 more. Bananas, $1.29 cheaper by the kilo.
Prices are really very, very reasonable and cheap from other stores because we need in bulk.
But there is a very key difference at Grosgo. It's an Indian grocery store, making their target market much narrower, but hoping to attract customers from all over Sydney.
I cook a biryani, butter chicken.
As shoppers seek more ways to save, Rex Quayle, 7 News.
Still to come on Sunrise Early News, Hawthorn Silence, Charlie Curnow and the Swans in an MCG stunner. Plus, in the NRL, the Bulldogs remain unbeaten after taking down the Raiders in Canberra. And a closer look at how the weather is shaping up in your part of the country. To some sport news now, and Hawthorn avoided a scare to hand the unmanned Swans their first defeat of the AFL season at the MCG last night. Without injured stars Isaac Heaney and Errol Goulden, Sydney got off to a hot start, Charlie Curnow kicking 2 early goals, but from 20 points down, the Hawks powered back to win 99-82.
No matter if they've got stars out, they've got great kids to come in, and we knew it was going to be a tight game.
Hawks veteran forward Jack Gunston starred with 4 goals. And in the NRL, the Bulldogs powered through driving rain to beat the Raiders in Canberra, securing their second straight win of the season. Raiders prop Josh Papali was sin-binned and placed on report for a high shot on Sam Hughes as the Dogs held on for a gritty 14-10 win.
Numbers Curran and for Preston. Preston barges over for Canterbury.
Raiders captain Joe Charpany was also placed on report for this hit on Harry Haynes. The Matildas aren't fazed by the challenge that awaits them in the Asian Cup final. Tournament favourites Japan will be a tall task. They've scored 28 goals and conceded only 1.
They're just a great team, so it's something we're going to have to be so ready for, and it's a massive challenge, but we're excited for it. On the day of the final, anything can happen, and it's about who wants it more.
Aussie singer-songwriter G Flip will perform before tomorrow night's final at Stadium Australia. Tony Popovich has doubled down on his promise to never sell the Socceroos shirt. Asked about former Sydney FC player Adrian Sedcic defecting to Croatia, Popovich basically said good riddance.
Should I promise a player at 20 or 21 that he has to play? And if they don't, I have to fear that he will leave. It's probably better for Adrian that he's gone.
The Socceroos play friendlies against Cameroon and Curacao later this month as they build towards the World Cup in North America. And taking a look at the weather around the country for you now, severe tropical cyclone Narelle is expected to bring destructive winds and flooding rainfall to North Tropical Queensland. Showers and onshore winds are expected over eastern New South Wales and coastal Queensland. Instability over northern WA, the Northern Territory and into South Australia will bring showers and storms mainly in the north. Looking around the capital cities now, Brisbane some showers and 27, Sydney the same, showers 27, Canberra a possible storm and 25, Melbourne cloudy 22, Hobart partly cloudy and 23, Adelaide sunny 27, Perth sunny and 34 and in Darwin some showers about with a top of 31 degrees. And that is Sunrise Early News. I'm Monique Wright. Now it's time for Sunrise with Nat and Shervo.
Breaking news, Narelle hell, Queensland facing its biggest cyclone.